Welcome back to Diary of a Speed Reader. Today's book is Hidden Figures by Margot Lee Shetterly, and I'm giving it 4 stars. Today is International Women's Day, and I wanted to pick a book that really broke the stereotypes of women, and this is really one of those situations. Now, some of you may have watched the movie. The book is so incredibly different from that. It's night and day. You can't even really compare. The 2 women in question that are primarily the folk, Katherine Johnson and Dorothy Vaughan. They are these phenomenal female computers, and I just think there are so many takeaways from this. I'm going to give you 3. Now, the first one really is concept computer, and this is a shout out to the nerds. Before there was an actual machine that did the computing, computers were people. And in this case, they were these women who could just do calculations very quickly with a high degree of accuracy. At first, even more accurate than the machines that they were checking. I mean, it is fascinating to hear how they thought about the computer and what benefits it gave versus how we think of it now today. It's also brilliant to kind of see how they broke the equations apart among various people. Computers do that today, but it's so fascinating to see it done on a human level. Now, the second thing really has to do with this idea that business culture really is its own culture. And, you know, these ladies are working during a period of time of extreme discrimination. But when they get on campus on Langley, because of what the tasks is, the why, they're trying to send people to space, it's really only important that you get your calculations right and that you're on point when you do your work. Now, that said, there's still a layer of discrimination that exists there. That's a really important theme within the book. But relative to what's going on off campus, it's like you're entering a new world. Her life on Langley kind of makes sense to us from a modern perspective, and then every little snippet that doesn't deal with that is like kind of crazy talk. This is really insightful for anyone that's involved in building business culture and creating an environment of success. Now, the last thing really has to do with their use of being practical to counteract issues of discrimination of gender and race. Now, they're being excluded from meetings left and right, and they just continuously grind through by every time they're excluded and they have to do the computations, asking all of the questions that would be relevant that were obviously not considered because they were excluded from the meeting. It became an argument of practicality rather than trying to fight the bigger picture and bigger scope of race and gender. And I think that's fascinating if you're trying to deal with this in your own life, in the office place or otherwise. Sometimes it can't be on you to fight the bigger picture, but it definitely can be on you to just make practical arguments that make sense for business. As we enter 2020, and there's so many lines of divisiveness that are happening, I love these women because, you know, they weren't trying to force other people to see, say, or do anything. They were creating themselves as awesome, amazing people that were, in fact, twice as good as anyone else that were computing mathematics at the time. And that's how they succeeded. You can't control other people, but you can absolutely work to improve yourself and make yourself the best possible version of who you are. Reading stats, this book was 350 pages. It took me 1 hour and 13 minutes to read it. If you'd like to learn more about speed reading, feel free to comment below. Thank you for liking, following, sharing, and otherwise supporting me. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you tomorrow.